Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4 already of Rusty Collins Recap Comic Book and Reviews. So, as I said, trying to make this a lot shorter. So instead of rambling on for 27 minutes about nothing, I'm going to get straight into it for you guys. Alright, so first up tonight we got issue number 2 of Marvel 2-in-1. It's pretty much the closest thing we're going to get to a Fantastic Four comic, I think, at the moment. Written by Chip Zdarsky, and the art is done by a slew of people. Jim Chung, John Dell, Walden Wong, Jim Chang again, Frank Martin, I mean, just a list of people all over. So, Johnny and the Thing are teaming up to have their own comic. In this, they got information from Dr. Doom, and because he's a good guy, and they go to Monster Island, which is the origin of their first adventure, because that was where the clue led them to find this artifact that Reed left behind for them to travel the multiverse. And they get there, and they meet the Mole Man on Monster Island, and get in this awesome fight with them. And it was pretty great. Monster fight galore. Doom shows up. It's classic Doom, kind of an arrogant jerk, telling him there's no technology on this island, and Richards is a fool and bails out. And the Thing starts thinking about it, because the clue is their first adventure. And he's like, no, man, this wasn't our first adventure. This is the team's first adventure. But Ben and Reed, who Ben got the message, their first adventure was he had a flashback to college, where Reed and Doom were off in college together, and they had both submitted a paper. And Doom won, but not because it was a better paper, but because he bribed and buttered the judges and then bragged about it to Reed. So Reed's vengeance was to break into the school at night and vandalize the trophy and make the trophy say Victor Von Doof. And that was their first adventure. So they go back to the university, and in that trophy is this artifact, so to speak. And now the Thing and Human Torch get to go adventure off into the multiverse to find Sue and Reed, in theory. So I'm stoked for this comic. I can't wait for an actual Fantastic Four comic, because as all of us Marvel fans know, that was kind of the heart and soul, whether it was good or not at the time. And we miss it. So this has been amazing. Love it. And Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is my hero. He's the best character, period, Marvel. So to see him anytime is always a plus. Alright, time for the #1 comic that nobody's reading, because the sales on this thing do not reflect how amazing this comic is, and that is Thanos number 15. This is written by Donny Gates, done by Jeff Shaw, and Antonio Fabela. So this comic's incredible. It starts off with amazing art of the Ghost Rider. This is Cosmic Ghost Rider, by the way, showing Thanos the Penance Stare and all the horrible things he's ever done. And this is how Thanos in the future, this King Thanos of the future, wakes up every day, is to look and see all the horrible things he's done, and that's his breakfast, essentially. And young Thanos, our Thanos, is in the future with this other one, and young Thanos thinks he's a chump. And old Thanos wants death back, so he's trying to bring death back to the universe, because he's killed everything but like 4 or 5 people. And they're having this back and forth, and old Thanos is making fun of young Thanos, and there's this Cosmic Ghost Rider there, and you find out Cosmic Ghost Rider is Frank Castle, who's been driven insane, kind of like Deadpool, so that was a little weird, but it kind of fit, and anyways. So, young Thanos, old Thanos, future, and they're collaborating because there's this one being that even future Thanos is afraid of, and current Thanos is like, who could this possibly be that you're afraid of in the entire galaxy? And the very last page is what looks to me like an evil and dark Silver Surfer. So, if you like big, epic, cosmic comics with bad guys that are just amazing bad guys, you need to have this comic in your house, because it has been the best bad guy comic you can think of for a really long time. It's been great. Alright, last Marvel comic of the night. The only Star Wars comic of the week I got here. Poe Dameron, Star Wars, issue number 23. Poe Dameron is the best Star Wars comic out there. I know the main title's been solid and amazing, but Poe Dameron stole my heart. This comic has been great. It is written by Charles Soule, art by Angel Unzeta, and colors by Arif Prianto. Yeah, this comic's trying to hurt me. This comic kind of at the end of an arc, so I'm not going to go into the whole story. I'll go into the rough overline of what's going to be relevant for next time I talk to you about this comic. There's a villain that's been in this comic the entire 20-some issues named Tarek. He's a First Order member. He's also kind of a scoundrel. He betrayed them and had implants planted in his head. He found a way to override the implants. He found a way to betray them again. He hosed over Black Squadron in the process by stealing a guy they were trying to save. That man's name is... Sorry, Star Wars long, weird names. Lauren Santeca. So, Tarek captures this guy, is trying to use him as a bargaining chip to get the implants out after betraying them like 3 or 4 times. And Black Squadron got their butt handed to them in front of Princess Leia. So, like I said, this comic's been amazing. I don't want to go on and on about trying to explain everything that's happened already. That's what's going to be relevant for next time. But if you liked the old X-Wing novels from the now non-canon book universe, this comic book is the closest thing you're going to find to those novels, I think, period. Like, this has been a good replacement for those in my heart. So, check it out. Poe Dameron, best Star Wars comic they make right now. Definitely. Alright, up next we have Action Comics number 996, Son of Zod Unleashed. This is done by Dan Jurgens, William Conrad, and Ivan Nunes. There's been 2 stories kind of simultaneously happening here. One is Lois Lane trying to save her father. I had no idea Lois Lane was so capable of a one-woman insurgency into a third world country run by guerrillas, because she manages to do this quite flawlessly with, like, some hookups and help she's got from people in the past. Meanwhile, Jonathan's following her and she has no idea, so of course that's going to get interesting eventually, but they really didn't do much other than she successfully is in country. The main story that people are actually focused on in this issue is Superman and Booster are still in their time caper. They've wound up in the not too distant future on a foreign planet where Zod and his family have conquered and run. So Zod's child is grown up, Zod's wife's there, Zod theoretically would be there. And they're trying to be sneaky, but they're not. This comic has some amazing art of just Superman trashing. I mean, just destroying some cheap Eradicator robots. The issue goes on, like I said, with Lois Lane. They encounter a couple more robots, and finally the son of Zod shows up and just hammers Superman into the ground, and you get to meet an adult Lord Zod. So, yeah, Action Comics is exactly what the name states. It's a really good action book with the story's not the most elaborate, but there's a story to the action, and it's very enjoyable. Issue 1000 is coming. They finally announced some big things for that, so issue 1000 might be getting its own special segment because it's supposed to be like 80 pages solid of just amazing from all kinds of cool stuff. So, yeah, look forward to that coming up very soon because I know I sure as heck am. Alright, next up we've got Batgirl number 19, part 1 of a Cold Snap storyline. This is done by Hope Larson, Chris Wildgoose, Joe Marzin, and Matt Lopez. So I don't want to say this comic is the worst comic I buy, but it is probably the least good at the moment. This is another one of those comics I don't read to my daughter, but I know my daughter is going to want to read it when she gets older because it's cute. Batgirl is not your dark, broody character. She's just so happy and innocent and sweet. And this issue shows that really well. The city mysteriously gets cold for no reason. The weather satellites show it's clear and sunny, and everybody's phone app says it's clear and sunny, but it's obviously snowing, like blizzard snowing. And the people of Gotham are starting to panic, and you see Penguin on the cover here, and Penguin shows up with his toadies, and they're like, we're going to save the city! And it's kind of weird, because it's cold, and Penguin's trying to play it off like, I'm just helping out, I'm a good guy at the moment. Like, these are my people in my neighborhood. Batgirl's obviously highly suspicious, because it's Batgirl. It's her comic, that's what she does. I thought one thing that happened in this comic was hellaciously silly, though, because she goes on, like, a false track tracks down the wrong bad guys. But then, like, out of nowhere, where does she get this little, like, snow car? What the piplup is that? It was just random. I don't know. Like I said, this is, it's just an innocent, sweet comic that takes place in Gotham, and it's fun. Batgirl's just cute. I know a lot of people don't like the Batgirl of Burnside because they're dedicated to the Oracle, but Burnside Batgirl's been cute. It's been just too damn cute. I'm sorry. Alright, we got Batman Detective Comics number 973, done by James Tynion IV, Jesus Marino, Jason Wright, and Sal Cipriano. So, as you saw at the end of the last issue, Mozilla is trashing the town. This was a event organized by a group of villains who've been antagonizing Batman and the Bat family through the whole Detective Comics run, essentially, since they rebirthed the universe. The main bad guy that has been screwing with this, manipulating all the facts, gets betrayed and sold out by a, like, midline villain, like a bad guy with good intentions. His name is Anarchy. So he betrays this guy and sells him out to the Bat family. So that happens in this issue. Meanwhile, the Bat family is trying to keep people safe, find a way to stop Mudface, or Clayface. God, it's just insane. It is so insane. Sorry, Mudface is another one of the villains that is attached to the bad guys. Not that bad of a noob. But, so they're fighting Clayface, and Batwoman was given a weapon from her father, who's very much so not a friend of the Bat family, that can supposedly just kill Clayface instantly. Meanwhile, they also found a cure that if they can just inject this with him, it potentially could cure him. And they didn't do this prior because he could lose his powers and it also could make him insane. And at this point, they're like, well, what have we got to lose? He's a crazed monster. So worst case scenario, he either goes insane, but he's in a human form and we control him, or he controls himself. They have the girl who barely speaks, Orphan, go up and actually get the injection in because her and him were very close. They had a bond. They acted Shakespeare and start having their connection. And he starts to lose control. And as he's losing control, Batwoman decides that she's going to take matters into her own hands and literally shoots him in the head with this weapon that supposedly can kill him. So that's how this ended, was Batwoman killing just right there on the spot. Something Bat people don't do. This links back to the storyline with the Robin from the future that had gone ballistic and was angry because Batwoman had done something that had jacked everything up. So they're starting to address a lot of links and tie-ins that have been there this whole time, and that's one of the things I love most about this comic is something that happened 20 issues ago will come back full circle and have complete relevance and accent and accentuate the story you're reading now. So I find that, I love that. I miss that about the old comics, and I find this is one of the few newer comics that does that extremely well on a highly consistent basis. So Detective Comics gets nothing but top praise from me. Alright, next we've got Doomsday Clock number 3. This is by Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brand Anderson, and Rob Lay. I got one of the variant covers here. My local comic shop didn't have enough of the main cover, and this was an awesome one anyways. So, if you read The Watchmen, you know this is a wordy, long, intricate, detailed comic, and I can't even tell you everything that happens in here in 10 minutes just for this issue. You get to see some karmic justice. If you did read The Watchmen, you know that the main villain, Ozymandias, threw the comedian out of a window. You get to see the comedian throw him out of a window. Kind of some justice there. Batman and Rorschach meet up. Batman is very chummy and friendly with Rorschach until he reads the journal of the other Rorschach and realizes how dangerous this man is and tricks him into a jail cell. You see a pair of characters that are mimes go into a bar that is run by the Joker, pick a fight, kill everybody in there, and decide that this Joker sounds like a pretty fun guy, and they should go track him down. There is a detective story in the background that makes absolutely no sense, but as we all know from reading The Watchmen, there was a number of things that when you read them initially, they made absolutely no sense and had no context, but then a couple issues later, all of a sudden, it would elaborate and develop, and you'd be like, oh my, and you'd have to go back and reread that because it would, again, accent and accentuate what you were reading further down the line, so I'm sure this is going to be the exact same way. I know there's a lot of people who are very upset that they're doing a continuation of The Watchmen. They're doing a fantastic job. I read The Watchmen just recently for the first time and thought it was absolutely incredible, and this seems to keep the same pace and tone even though it's written by a different creative team many years down the line. I can't wait for this to be done because this is going to take like 20 some flippin' months to come out by the time it's all said and finished, but once it's done it will be a fantastic addition to everything. It's just going to be a nice pretty hardback you can buy and lend out to people over and over and over again because it's been very solid so far. Very solid. Here we go with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 37. This is done by Robert Venditti, Rafa Sandoval, and Jordi Tarragona. This comic, pretty sweet and quick this week. You get to see Jon Stewart confront the Guardian Council and call them out on a bunch of stuff they've done in the past, and them kind of have an agreement of what their intention is going forward. So that was really nice, so short and sweet. The comic itself, we deal with Zod and his family again, which we're just dealing with in Action Comics this very same week. But I'm assuming this is that same planet, but current time, where Superman's in the future. So that kind of leads me to wonder if there's not going to be like a crossover somewhere down the line. Anyways, so they've established Zod, his family, the Eradicator, have all gone to this other planet now and have taken it over. And the comic starts with some incredible art of Hal just beat down. And him and Kyle Rayner go to this planet, are checking it out. They're doing their thing. They're Green Lanterning it up. They encounter Zod. They start a fight. And they realize that it's Zod, his wife, his son, and the Eradicator. And it's only Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan. And they proceed to get their butt handed to them. I mean, handed to them. And they beat the crud out of them horribly bad. The last panel of this comic is just unbelievable how badly they just got the crud smashed out of them by the Zod family. So, if you like fast-paced comics with a crap load of action and enough story to keep you involved, here you go. Like, holy smokes, the Green Lantern book is just nothing but just massive heavy-hitting awesomeness. So, check that one out. The Hal Jordan book has been a great, just punch 'em, sock 'em, incredibly fun book. Alright, up next we have issue number 1 of a 12-issue miniseries, Raven, Daughter of Darkness. This is done by Marv Wolfman, Pop Mahan, and Lovren Kindersky? Yeah. So I really like Raven. My family really likes Raven, so this is one of those books that I kind of checked out as much as anything, not because I was aware of it or because I was excited for it, because I just really enjoy the character. And Marv Wolfman's writing it. I didn't realize that at first. So this comic's set in a weird way. It's not her with the Teen Titans, it's her with her mom's family in San Francisco, and they're like super hardcore Bible-thumping Christians, and she's creepy goth girl demon daughter Raven. So that's been awkward. There was another miniseries that dealt with this family that was peculiarly strange. But anyways, so there's this spooky, like, Count Dracula almost kind of guy in the background narrating how Raven's gonna die or destroy the world and his evil plot. Meanwhile, Raven is with her friends, just normal ass people, and they're hanging out at a bonfire on the beach, which anybody who knows Raven, you're like, why? She wants to be normal. She wants to know what normal is like. So she's living with a Christian family in San Francisco, hanging out with hipsters. Because that's normal, apparently. So she's there, and she sees military people attacking a girl. And she goes after this girl and starts suffering horrible hallucinations. And realizes that it was not real, they were just hallucinations and illusions. And keeps chasing this girl. And by the time she finally catches this girl, a couple of military people have been injured, and she's had to go back and forth with them. And she finally gets this girl. There we go, here we go. The thing's just two eyes and a head. There's no mouth, there's no nose, there's no ears. So, it's a really weird start. If this wasn't by Marv Wolfman, I'm not sure if I would keep up with this, but because it is by him, I'm going to give it a couple more issues to kind of see where it's going. Because like I said, there was another miniseries that dealt with her in much the same context, you know, with this family and everything, that just didn't click with me. But I really like the character, and I want it to click so incredibly bad that, here, take my money, and I'll keep trying. And I don't know, we'll see where it goes. Hopefully it'll pick up and become very good, hopefully. Alright, next up, last for the night, we've got Wonder Woman number 39. This is done by James Robinson, Emmanuel Lupacchino, Carmen Granero, Ray McCarthy, and Romulo Fiardo. I'm so sorry, people. I really am. So, I'm really enjoying this particular story arc. Wonder Woman's been kind of intermittent, off and on, up and down. This one is really cool. It's got a new villain that they've introduced. This was a girl who was infatuated with Wonder Woman. They were friends. Wonder Woman had saved her. She has now gone a little nutty and somehow gotten this amazingly cool armor, and she can go toe-to-toe with Wonder Woman. They haven't explained how or why yet. But you see her and Wonder Woman battling intensely for this entire issue. I mean, they're really going to town on each other for pages and pages. They're just decking each other out. And this girl's talking in third person, and every time she catches herself talking in first person, she corrects herself and starts talking in third person. And like, this chick is nuttier than squirrel poop. I mean, she's just out there. You get to see some more Darkseid and his machinations in the background, because he's been in and out of this since the new writer took over. You get to see more of her brother, another one of Zeus's children on Earth, because Zeus liked to make children on Earth with Earth women, if anybody knows Greek mythology. So her to have a brother, because she's a child of him, makes absolute sense, and people should just go themselves if they have a problem with that. And he's kind of inexperienced and young and foolhardy. And he decides to go help Wonder Woman fight this villain, because she looks like she needs help. And he's very inexperienced, and he shows up, and this villain gets mad, and they make a tornado, and they're battling, and this chick slits the brother's throat. I mean, like, cut brother's throat, Wonder Woman goes nuts, cuts the chick's armor, like, cuts a section of the wing off, and the armor explodes. And the last panel is this 6-panel layout where you see him falling with a slit throat, him falling more, the villain falling with her broken, weapon, because she can't fly now because her wings are broke, and Wonder Woman falling, and falling, and them all not in the panel. So all of them are in the air. The brother's got a slit throat, so they're probably going to write him out as soon as they wrote him in, because storyline. There's this villain who they haven't, I mean, they've explained, but they haven't, they've explained why, they haven't explained how yet. And then you've got poor Wonder Woman trying to be Wonder Woman, but she's she got beat again. So I'm appreciating this comic because they're not trying to make the movie into a comic book, like is very typical when you get a movie or a television show. They try to make the comic book reflect that, so that way the people who watch the show will buy the comic book. They're not doing that with Wonder Woman, and I very much so appreciate that, because I feel that the comic book should be their own thing to inspire making better movies and TV, not movies and TV cluttering up my comic book. So, props to DC for not doing that, and yeah, Wonder Woman's been great. I'm loving the crud out of this particular storyline, but I think that's just because it's hot Wonder Woman fighting some crazy angel chick, and love it. Alright guys, well we did it. Another episode down. I haven't put it all together yet after editing and everything, but I'm pretty sure this one's going to be even shorter than last week, so I'm keeping up with that less than 30-minute thing. Mind you, next month there's going to be an episode for sure that will be long as all get out, because I have like 16 comics in one day. So yeah, I'm working to do that more often. I cannot guarantee that every time. But thank you guys again for being here. I'm appreciating the support. We're picking up a couple new subscribers periodically. Like I said, tell your friends, tell anybody who's interested. I'm going to get like 1 or 2 more episodes under my belt to show some real consistency, and I'm going to start advertising this myself. And thank you guys so incredibly much. Hope to see you again next week. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Did you get it?